All right, welcome to episode 3 of SneetCast. I'm Brian.
I'm Ryan. The R stands for right ear only today.
I'm Chef. They won't understand that.
We'll explain it. I don't care.
We'll explain. It's fine.
And I'm Parker, and I didn't know we were starting yet.
For the first 2 episodes, it was only me wearing headphones and everyone else just talked to each other. And this is the first episode where everyone's wearing headphones, but I bought this $10...
Except for you.
Oh, yeah. I'm wearing crappy, just skull candy earbuds today.
Soundboy forgot his headphones.
Shut up. I'm forgetful. Anyway.
See, now it's distracting because I can hear how like shit I sound when I speak.
That's the point. Anyway.
True voice.
Yeah.
I bought this crappy $10 Amazon Basics headphone splitter so we can all hear each other, and it is, depending on how the wire is like bent in a certain way, sometimes you'll only hear it in one ear, sometimes you hear it in both ears, but it's just through our headphones. The recording is going to be fine, so no one will understand what's going on when we talk.
We hope.
You'll never know true horror.
Oh jeez, you did that so close to the mic.
You never know true horror until you hear a low-quality version of yourself whisper only into your right ear.
Thank you,
It's
Parker.
an experience.
Anyway, all right.
I hear someone's mouth going.
Anyway. Okay. Everyone just turned off the podcast at that moment. Everyone's just like, this is not okay.
Except for that one guy. One guy was like, this is
There's this one guy
One guy
really
that
likes
was the best part.
Yeah.
This one guy that really likes ASMR, and he's just like, hey, why didn't they do this the other 2 episodes?
For a variety show.
The
This
one
is
guy
great.
was just casually listening, and now he's like, oh, I have a boner. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, I got my mom to follow the Twitter page.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
So, hope she doesn't click on this one.
the first episode's called Welcome to Dick Twist. Why is that worse?
She would find that funny.
But you wouldn't find like eating sounds funny.
No, she wouldn't find you going, oh, now I have a boner funny.
Parker doesn't have a boner.
Yeah, it's not me.
He doesn't have
I
a
was
bone,
talking
he's
in
just saying it.
You were pointing at. I don't have one. You can't point at it. It's not there.
It's
you
not
sure?
gay if you don't point
Look
at it.
again.
Check again.
No, still not there.
Check behind your ear.
Ew.
Ear
No.
boner.
And I told people that we were going to talk about like video games and anime on this podcast, and so far we've just talked about weird mouth noises and boners.
This is
Right.
one episode.
Yeah.
This is like the boner icing on the video game cake.
Boner icing?
Oh, boy.
You put I need to get this picture out of my head. Someone talk about video games or something like that.
Okay, I had someone I wanted to talk about.
Okay, you go ahead. You say your fucking thing.
Mike, don't.
Sorry. So recent news. It was rumored, I think, last week, maybe even earlier. The rumors are going around that video games, like AAA video games, starting next console generation, are going to bump up to $70. That was the rumor, and then today it was officially revealed that Ubisoft games are at the moment staying at 60. But what Take-Two said that
Take-Two
Was
announced
it like
that
NBA 2K?
Yeah, I think whatever new basketball game was coming out was going to be
$70.
Yeah.
So what do we all think about this?
That, like, if they try to bump it up to $70, everyone's going to go, no. Like,
yeah, everyone's
especially
gonna go, screw
when
that. Everyone's
like-
just gonna either wait for a price drop or just not buy it.
Yeah, what a shitty time to try and do this when everyone's
It
economy's
sucks
because
they did it for the sports game, and you know that there are certain people that only buy sports games.
Yeah.
They're not like,
Well, they'll get it because it's
yeah,
like,
so
oh, $10 more.
they'll get it no matter what.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Because that's
where-
their $70 they spent the year for video games or something like that.
That's what I was thinking. Whereas, like, if Ubisoft did bump it up to 70, they get so much shit. But Take-Two, like, they're
I mean, they should
selling
still
to
get
such
shit.
yeah, but they're selling to such a specific audience that I don't think cares.
No.
Like, they're just
Yeah.
gonna buy the new game, and that's where I was thinking. Where I don't think a like price increase for some games wouldn't. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if we had more of a diversified price range for games. Like because I've been saying this for years, where not every new game needs to be $60, and I think some games would sell a lot better if they were like, oh, 50 or 40. and we've gotten at this a bit recently, but I don't think as much as we should have. And I feel like if the prices were already kind of diversified, then bumping some of them up a little bit wouldn't be that big a deal. And because like I can think of some games where I'm like, might not like it might not be terrible for that to be priced at $70. I don't want to pay. So I want to play as little as possible. Pay as little as possible in order
You
to
can
play
do it. I believe in you.
as most as possible.
As most as possible.
Valedictorian Parker.
Shut up.
Anyway.
Big brain.
What I'm interested in is what is Sony and Microsoft's first party games going to be priced at? Like, if we were to get Spider-Man 2, what is that going to be? Not Miles Morales, like actual Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac. What's that going to be priced at? What's the Ratchet and Clank game? Was it Rift Apart?
Rift Apart. Ratchet and Clank, I think, is a good example of a game that now shouldn't be $60. I think Ratchet and Clank should be $50. 40 is a little too low, I would say, for Ratchet, for a new big Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah. And if
the remake,
if it's a new,
Well, what are you basing that on? Like, that's my question. Is like
Gut feeling.
and
Yeah,
we don't
like,
even
that's
know,
what I mean.
we
Like,
don't even know
what's
how
the-
big the Ratchet and Clank game
Yeah,
is
that's
going
what I
to
mean.
be, because they showed off like what the SSD of the PS5 is supposed to do with like going through these different dimensions without loading and all that. But it's also like, is that just gonna be for just fun little set pieces, or will that be a major component and the game will be like the biggest Ratchet and Clank game we've seen?
yeah,
that's what I mean.
that's fair. It's so hard because I don't think there's one thing you can be like, oh, it's. I don't think you can just be like, oh, it's the amount of. Like how long you can spend in the game, because then it's like, oh, short games get the shaft then, despite getting a lot of work put in them. But
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, no, it's how much work gets put into it. But then,
the price should just
$60
be like whatever the company thinks will make money and have people buy it, but no like higher than $60.
Yeah.
So,
are there
60.
no video games at all that you would be like willing to pay $70 for at launch?
It's got to be a huge
like
game for me
there
to care.
is stuff that I would be willing to pay $70 for, but the problem is that
Like, begrudgingly.
yeah, like if they were like, oh, Bloodborne 2 is out,
There's-
I'd pay like $100 for it.
Yeah, there are
but I don't
some
want
games
to.
where I'm willing to shell out more than $100 for like the deluxe edition or collector's
I mean, that's
edition of a game
different
because
because
I love it that
that is
much.
okay.
That's
but
different
like,
though, because that comes with more stuff. Like if it comes
Yeah.
with a fucking
Yeah.
statue or something, that justifies the price.
I mean,
If
Yeah.
you're just like, if
if it's the
if
base game,
Devil May Cry 5 had just launched and you got the same thing, but it was $70 instead of 60, would like.
and not even the deluxe version of the
Yeah,
game that comes
just
like
the
the
base
Mega
game.
Man Buster, just the base game where they're all facing away from the cover.
I would have, but I wouldn't have been happy about it.
Nah, yeah, I'm hoping they don't increase, because
well, it's like
game
they don't
games,
increase
even in
the
the,
price
NES
of
era.
like DVDs for movies depending on like length or anything. It's like pretty consistently like $20.
Yeah. Sometimes with how
Yeah.
much is in it, like director commentaries and behind the scenes stuff, they might bump the price up more
Yeah.
for
No,
like
it's-
Blu-rays.
have-
yeah.
But there are
Special
times where
releases.
if
Yeah.
if it's literally just a disc with the movie on and nothing else, it will definitely be at a lower price.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I mean.
movie ticket prices have gone up though, have they not? Like over the years.
What you mean, like for a basic movie? Because
What's a non-basic movie?
3D IMAX.
No, I meant like
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
just movies, just normal movie
Oh yeah,
tickets. Like,
definitely. They used to be like fucking couple dollars.
because
No,
I am
Well, I
Right.
thought
saying
the
like
idea
10.
with that was, oh, we're going to a place for like the experience of being in a movie theater.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
When
I'm
I
just
buy
saying,
a game, I'm just buying a game and play at my fucking house. I'm not.
I'm
you
just
know.
saying for like an economic standpoint, like I think NES games when they came out were like 50 a pop.
That's what I was trying to say
And-
when everyone
and-
was talking.
And that's the thing, where like they eventually moved
Mhm.
up to 60. Eventually, with inflation and stuff, like they'd have to move up to 70 for it to be worth the same that it was.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, it has been 60 for a long time.
I don't-
So
I don't have enough knowledge about the market or business or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
you're
I
not
can't.
an economist.
No,
Economist?
economist. You don't know about the economical anyway, but because that I don't know. That's a very complex scenario. That I just want to play games.
I want them to cost less. You know what? You know what they need to do? They need to stop like overinflating budgets. And
Yes.
plan things better.
Can we talk about
And
how
have things cost less.
what was it? Was it a PlayStation CEO or I forget? But someone big in the industry was just
He
like,
was like,
if we keep making games like this, where they're really huge, big budget games, where we're basically like game companies will just overwork everyone to meet a deadline, the game industry cannot sustain itself.
The game industry cannot sustain that because I won't get another 10 million in bonuses at the end of the year.
Yeah.
See,
It's the only reason.
Yeah.
see,
It's like
I want worse graphics, not or like graphics to stay the same for a bit.
I want all of my games to look like Half-Life 1.
yeah.
No, what I'm just saying is
The
that like
ideal.
I am easily willing to sacrifice graphics for like not even just the price, not even just more fun actual gameplay. If I find out that the game looks a little worse because people got to go home an hour earlier when still already doing overtime, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Like everyone here acknowledges just like how the game industry treats its workers and all that, but like the average consumer definitely doesn't. So it's like, how long until they'll finally be able to move to like a better system with how companies treat their employees? I don't know.
When they get to
I have no idea.
unionize.
Yeah, that pretty much.
Yeah. What game company is good to work at? I know Insomniac.
Insomniac.
Is.
I've heard.
I always hear good things about.
I've looked at like, QA tester is like bottom of the barrel and gets treated like shit and does a lot of overtime and stuff like that. And I've heard nightmare stories about going in at 8 a.m. and leaving at 2 a.m. and stuff like that.
Oh,
And I look at like I've gone through before and looked at some companies and looked at QA tester positions out of curiosity and looked at reviews, and Insomniacs are all good. Even the ones that are like, yeah, the job itself kind of sucks. Like just QA testing sucks, and they're like, even if it doesn't lead to a better position in the company, they just said like it is a nice place. I even saw some of the reviews say that like the CEO of Insomniac or something like is just a nice guy and will like get to know you even if you're on the very bottom of the chain, which is pretty neat. But other than that, I'm trying to think of Nintendo. Nintendo is supposed to be like really nice to work for.
I've heard that, yeah. Valve is like what?
Say it and I'll edit it out.
I couldn't see Parker's eye, and so it was like weird listening to him talking because his microphone was right over his eye.
Good.
That's so
I'm
funny.
sorry.
I was gonna say Valve's fucking too good to its employees and they don't do anything.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's like I just work on whatever you want.
Technically,
There's no
they
leadership.
did. We finally got a Half-Life game.
Fucking
Technically,
miracle.
like
God.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get like new Dota thing for the next 5 years.
A sequel
Did
to the card
Artifact
game.
ever come out?
Did what?
Is that the card
Artifact,
game?
the card game. Yeah, did that ever come out?
It did.
Really?
And
You're gonna announce a sequel
does
before
bad.
it comes out.
We're gonna get Portal 1.5 VR that tells you what happens while Chell was knocked out for
If I
like
get
2 hours.
more Portal puzzles, I'm fine with this.
I feel like Portal in VR would make me throw up.
Oh yes.
I think it would make a lot of people throw
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Imagine shooting a portal up and then shooting
Oh,
one down
doing
it
and just
fast, like-
falling through.
Dude, like
Vomit
there was a
simulator.
VR because me and Ryan have Oculus Rifts. There's a VR game that I really liked called Pavlov, and I remember
Oh,
you downloaded it and you tried it, and the game doesn't have an option to just like teleport you.
Yeah.
Like it's all real time moving and turning. And you said you got like really bad vertigo playing it like that.
Yeah, it's cool, but like I was like sick playing it. Same thing with the Forest VR. I was like, this is sickening. I can't play this. It's
people
really
were
bad.
complaining that for the Doom, what's it called?
VFR.
VFR.
Virtual freaking reality.
Holy fuck. Anyway, people were complaining that there wasn't an option to turn off all the teleporting in that game. So you had to like basically mod it so you could do all that crap and play it smoothly. But then I feel like there is an overwhelming amount of people that can't handle that yet. and
I
think
thought
that's
the teleporting made it easier to like.
It is. It's better.
Better.
No, I'm saying it was overwhelming for people that modded it, so you can like move freely.
Oh, okay.
Without the teleporting and all that.
Yeah.
Like game devs put it in there for a reason. Like like it doesn't feel like a real game, and it like kind of breaks immersion, but it does help a lot with a lot of players for accessibility reasons.
I always, this is completely unrelated, but I always roll my eyes when people break my immersion, that kind of stuff. I don't know.
I can't play as a woman because I'm not a woman.
Yeah,
no
that's like the
video game protagonist should be women.
That's like the extreme example, which those aren't even people who have a point. Those are people who are just fucking idiots who say stuff like that. But I even mean like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever played a video game and like gotten lost to the point where I was like, this is me in the game. Like the most I get is like, oh, this world is really cool and I like watching it, but I'm never to the point where I'm like so immersed that if something breaks the immersion I get pissed off. I'm always just like, oh, like earlier today I was playing I've been playing through Portal 2 for the first time actually.
The single player Portal 2, you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
even the past couple, like a few months ago, I played the multiplayer for the first time. I just hadn't touched that game for almost 10
you beat
years.
multiplayer twice, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, before playing single player, which is really funny.
But and just now, like I was doing, I before coming here, I was doing the chapter called the Fall, where you replace GLaDOS with Wheatley, and then you get
spoilers.
Bro,
Oh my
bro.
god, it's been so long.
Spoilers.
I mean, Portal 2 has a really good story, but still, it's been so long.
And so, well, to be fair, I actually knew nothing about it. When the potato thing finally showed up, fucking hilarious.
I remember you were like asking me something about it, and I remember like, because you were like, we were talking about like, oh, I'm not gonna spoil it, and then you were like, oh, well, some of it got spoiled, and then you mentioned something about Wheatley that is just like not at all. I think you thought that like
Wheatley was the potato.
Wheatley was gonna be the potato or something like that. Or no. I was talking about a third voice actor.
Yeah, and
you thought the third voice actor was gonna be the potato, and I'm like,
yeah.
no.
But anyway, the thing about immersion, I was just saying, I was just like walking around, and it was like that game. The later levels really show you how huge the world they're putting you in, or the
aperture building.
The facility. And there was a moment where I was stopped, and I was just like, wow, this is really cool. But I didn't go, I am Chell. I can feel the portal gun in my hand and the weird springy boots on my feet.
You mean you don't like play Skyrim and speak all the lines as you're playing in your room and scream all the shouts and stuff? You know?
I did when I was playing Phoenix Wright for the first time. Yell, "Hold it!" An objection because the DS mic let you do that.
Well, I forgot when I mentioned that, but Skyrim for Xbox 360,
you can do the dragon shouts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you can do the shouts and stuff.
That is legitimately cool. And if it worked really well, then it didn't.
I had a Kinect and I tried it and it didn't work at all because the Kinect.
That sucks because I'm like, that would be a cool way of implementing Kinect. But if it doesn't work well, then turn that shit
nowadays.
off.
Imagining
with all the new advancements in that, I bet. But
just imagining these pissed off teenagers in their room going, Fusroka! And then like
that's like an impression of an angry teenager,
and then just like getting mad because just getting pissed off that doesn't work and like yelling it louder because they're angry.
Literally me though, back in like 2014 or whatever when I tried it, and I was like, what the fuck, my Kinect is broken.
You know, when I was little, I was told, this might be a fun topic to go into, video game myths that you either believed or at least tried. But when I was little, because I knew how the DS had a microphone, I was told that when you throw a Pokeball, if you yell like "Gotcha," the Pokemon would be more likely to catch.
Oh yeah, same.
And I fucking try. It was one of those things where I didn't believe it, but it was believable enough that I didn't want to risk it not being true. So I would do that sometimes when I threw Pokeballs. I'd be like if it wasn't working a couple times in a row, I'd be like, "Gotcha," and then like sometimes it would work, and I'd just be like, "This is just because it was the 20th try, not because I yelled that."
When I would play Pokemon, I would always like tap the A button in sync with the thing because I was like, this has to do something.
I forgot about that, and I remember I was convinced of that one because I was trying to catch Pokemon, and a friend was like, yo, let me see. And he did that and it worked. And I was like, oh my God. And then it wouldn't always work for me. And I'd be like, how did he do that?
Fucking up the timing. I just thought you had to mash it. I just was like tapping it as fast as I could. And I was like, yeah.
But are there other things? Like, I remember one time I tried, I had original Smash Brothers on Wii Virtual Console. And I saw a video online. This is when I was probably like 11. I saw a video online of somebody showing, like, the video was apparently well edited because it looked real, but it was them showing that if you, I think it was like if you enter and leave the, like when you click Smash and it opens up to the character select screen, if you like enter that screen and leave it 100 times, you get to play as Master Hand. And I watched the video and I was like, oh, this is real. And then I did it and I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like,
maybe I miscounted. Do it
Time
again.
to try it again.
You know, like, you don't believe it after that, but that fear is there. You're like, and then you do it a couple more times and you're like, okay, like, maybe I'm just stupid.
Maybe
Well,
I gotta do 100 more times. Maybe it was something in the settings.
Yeah, well, I mean, secrets like that existed. I mean, think about RE2 original. You go to, or even in the new one, you go to Wesker's desk, and if you just check it enough times, you get his like creepy picture of Rebecca in her like basketball outfit.
And where her legs are not like properly attached, right?
In the new one, because do you know what it is?
It's like two pictures photoshopped on top of each other or something.
No, it's two 3D models mashed together because it's one render of her like standing up, like doing like. Listeners can't see this, but she's doing.
Ryan's
a thing with
putting
her
his
arms.
head up behind his. No, his
Yeah,
arms
I'm
up
putting
behind,
my head up behind my hands. Yes.
His head up.
Anyway,
his arms
point
up
is,
behind his head.
She's got her hands like behind her head, and then it's another render of her like with her
Kneeling
legs
or
crossed or something. They're just mashed together, so it's like looks super fucked up. And yeah,
There's a bunch of fun gaming myths when we were young.
But like, which ones did you fall for, or like try at least?
Well, okay, for Grand Theft Auto, there was a bunch.
Sasquatch.
Like I remember, yeah, me and a friend, we did try to find the Sasquatch once. There was something else, I forget what, but there was that.
This one's real.
There's
right?
a bunch of Pokemon ones I know.
Because I was never into Grand Theft Auto, but if you go to the Statue of Liberty in 4, it has like a beating heart inside, right?
Yeah,
that's real.
it's in chains.
That's
yeah.
real. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
There's like other secrets in GTA. There's like a secret hotel room you can like get into with a car or something, and
Is that a real thing?
yeah. There's like a dev message in it or something. But yeah,
Hot coffee.
I mean,
that's not a myth.
No,
yeah, that's
I
not a
know.
myth.
I
That's
just
something
brought
they
up
took
Pokemon
out
talking
of
about
the game.
GTA
Oh.
and like GTA and like getting myths from the internet, especially just putting those together reminded me of the slew of YouTube videos about the hot coffee thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hot coffee was a hot topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A-rated game.
What else is hot? Super hot.
Okay,
Super
that was a good
hot.
transition.
Yeah.
I had no idea
Oh,
what you were gonna say.
Halo again.
Halo.
Halo.
You ever seen Master Chief's
They
Thighs?
gave Master Chief
Magnum?
fucking Schmeat in this new one.
Schmeat? What?
Yeah, his.
Never heard him say Schmeat.
Yeah,
No, I
Every
have. I'm
time-
wondering why.
Every
what-
time
what-
Ryan
what
talks-
you
Someone was
referring to as
comparing
Schmeat?
his armor from 4 and his armor from Infinite, and they just gave him like a huge like dick armor
Cod
in the new
piece.
one.
A
He's
cod
gonna,
piece,
he's
yeah.
gonna lift his helmet. It's gonna be
Dick armor.
no. He's gonna lift his helmet. It's gonna be fucking Mike Matei.
Yeah, Mike Matei's gonna go Schmeat,
Brown brick.
brown brick on my Schmeat. Anyway,
You're talking about Super Hot. And the reason why you're talking about Super Hot is because the sequel, I don't know if it's supposed to be a
basically
sequel or a spin-off,
yeah.
but the sequel, Super Hot Mind Controlled Elite,
Yes.
finally got out of early access, and version 1.0 is now out.
Yep. I beat it.
Nice.
pretty
Super Hot's
cool.
one of my favorite games, and I haven't played it yet. I bought the early access
You
version of
haven't
Mind
played the
Controlled
sequel
Elite.
yet. You mean?
Yeah, the sequel, Mind Controlled Elite.
It's one of my favorite games, despite
Yeah,
having
I-
never played it.
I put in so many
Persona
hours to Super
fans be
Hot
like-
because I loved endless mode. But Mind Control Delete, I remember buying the early access one. I played a couple hours of it, but it was in early access, so there wasn't that much of a difference between that and the original Super Hot. In fact, the original Super Hot was more polished because it wasn't in early access. But I haven't played the official release yet, so I have no idea what they changed and what they made better or whatever.
There's some stuff. I don't
The
like all.
dog.
I don't like all the stuff,
Oh.
but some of it's
Is it
pretty
a dog?
neat.
Is that real?
There is a man with a dog head that enters the game and he goes "Bwah," and it's this loud fucking noise when he does that.
Is he?
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm dead serious. I was talking
watched
about it.
happen once.
Yeah,
I sincerely didn't know if we were like riffing on Last of Us Part 2 or if this was a real
What
thing.
does that have to do with The Last
Yeah,
of Us
what?
Part 2?
Because Last of Us Part 2 has dogs in it.
they go "Bwah." Come after
Somebody
you.
with a dog.
I mean,
all
if
their
they're
owners-
deadly. I've died more from dogs than anything else, I
All,
think.
all their owners walking around going, "Blah, come back,
oh,
my
no.
blah."
Oh no, they killed Blah!
Yeah, but it's just it's a weird game. Like it's like half roguelike and half level based.
Yeah.
Like the way you go through it is there's like 4 floors, and on each floor there's a bunch of different nodes which are just
Yeah.
groups of levels that you go through.
Yeah.
So it's like you do a level, do another level, and then you'll hit like a white. It's like weird to explain because there's like layers in this shit. So you go to a node, and then in the node there's like just a bunch of lines of text or
Yeah.
like code,
Yeah.
and you have like a little marker and it starts deleting text in the line until it hits like a word, and that word is always like the name of the level you're going to. So then you go into that level. You go into that level, but sometimes you'll get to like just like a white square, and then you'll get a little upgrade that you can use. It'll be like another heart. It'll be another like faster movement or something. And you get more of these as the game goes on. You like unlock them through other nodes that end up appearing in the different floors and stuff. And it's pretty cool, but it's not like
So far, what you're saying is what was in the early access. I think in the early access there just wasn't a story, or they added way more like power ups to the roguelike.
Yeah.
'Cause I know there was like a trailer that showed off one of the perks was him throwing a katana, and you can press a button to like recall the katana, like God of War-esque.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
The issue is that it's not that cool. Because my biggest beef with this thing is that it doesn't go hard enough into being a roguelike or just being like a level based thing,
Yeah.
and it just sits in the middle of the road in like a really irritating way. Like
So
it's
you
still,
don't-
it's still
you
super
don't-
hot, so it's
you-
still fun,
So
but
you
it's,
don't get the full effects of either.
no, because
variation.
what happens is you unlock more abilities that you could potentially get as you go through these like short node level things, but you don't get anything other than unlocking the chance to get these things. You don't unlock anything permanent.
All right.
So you're just like, it's just a complete reset on every node, and I'm like, okay, like it means that there's a chance that you're just getting like the same exact shit over and over again, and it's like,
So
Okay.
it's not a bad game. You're just
No, it's still
disappointed
super
in
hot.
the decisions they made.
yeah, I wish it was just more of a roguelike. Like I wish I
Yeah.
could just had to go through every floor and just get more upgrades as
Is
I
it a
go.
worthy sequel to Super Hot though?
I'd say so. I have a thing on Steam where I have like my favorites category and then beaten, and I was really debating if I was just gonna put it in like, yeah, I beat it, or if I was gonna put it in favorites.
Talking
I
about
ended up
Mind
putting
Control
it-
Delete, right?
Yeah. I ended up putting in favorites with the VR in the original.
I didn't even realize that it was a sequel until I purchased it because I thought that it was.
Did you think it was just an expansion?
I thought
or
it
like
was a
DLC?
free update, dude.
It is free if you
Oh.
own the original.
No,
so-
but I thought it was again like I thought it was an update.
Well, it's
I thought
free
it was
after
going
it's-
to add a tick on the
Oh,
menu.
It's free until a certain date.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize how big it was. I guess, which is really cool.
Yeah, there's,
Um,
and I you know, I'm complaining a bit, but there is a lot of cool stuff. There's a bunch of new enemies, actually, enemy types, and those were
There,
cool.
there weren't
isn't it-
any enemy types in the original. It was just enemies with different weapons.
Yeah, with
like
different
there were
guns.
some that just had their fists. There were some that
It's just
threw
killing
objects
red
at
guys.
you. Or...
Yeah,
Isn't this also technically the third Super Hot game? Because
Well,
Super
'cause
Hot
VR.
VR
Yeah,
is
VR has a
it's
different
also
story.
completely
Also, it's
different.
not a port. It has its own story.
So
Yeah, I guess you could
Cool.
say. Although VR, I'm pretty sure is more of a spin-off than anything.
I wonder
I
if
guess.
they're. I wonder what. What's the name of the studio?
Oh, People Can Fly, I think? No.
No, that's the team that did like.
See, they're both
Gears
Polish. That's
Judgment.
why. That's why I don't remember. They're both Polish. I'll look it up. Anyway, what were you saying?
I was gonna say about the enemy types. They're pretty cool. They're a neat addition to the game. There's two. There's technically 5 new enemy types, but there's 2 in particular that I liked.
It's called Super Hot Team. That's the development
Really?
team. Yeah, they're just called. Well, the thing is, I think the very early version of the game was made by one guy.
Mm.
It was from a game jam.
Yeah, but eventually, everyone loved the idea so much that he just created a studio. But like, he only wanted to make Super Hot. I think.
The only reason I asked is because I was wondering what do you think they're gonna do next? Like, do you think they're just gonna keep making Super Hot, or are they gonna like? Make
I think they
something
could
weird?
make something new. Enemies.
Yeah,
in the game,
sorry.
And I want to
Super
talk
cold.
about. Yeah.
Time slows down when you move.
Yeah. Oh God.
Which, to be honest, I'd totally play that.
That could. Okay.
Imagine
Anyway,
you have to stand still in order to get shot at.
I wanna talk
Anyway.
about the enemies. Yeah. So there's 2 new ones. There's guys that are kind of invincible. Like, parts of their bodies are like armor.
Oh, so you have
basically.
to aim at a certain part.
Yeah, like
Oh,
they're
sometimes aiming in Super Hot is like really weird because you have to like kind of predict where enemies are
yeah.
going.
If anyone's
So I
farther
feel
away
like-
than like 2 feet, it's like, oh, it's a little sus. But
Yeah, I feel like that'd be really hard to figure
yeah.
out.
Well, it's kind of balanced because if you shoot them in the other parts, they get kind of stunned a bit.
Oh,
Sometimes,
Oh,
I think. So yeah, they're cool. They add a little bit of challenge to that, especially when you end up having a bunch of upgrades, so you can like deal with them better. And then there's the other guys, which I don't know. These enemies don't have names or anything.
Yeah.
There's another type that just has like weird glitched spikes coming off of them on different parts of their body.
I think I've seen them.
Yeah, it's the cover.
Might-
the
yeah,
guy-
it
the
might be
one,
the
the thing
cover,
on the cover.
actually,
Yeah.
I just thought it was a cool looking cover. I didn't know that was an enemy.
But yeah, they're cool. They have those spikes, like I said, and when you shoot them, well, if you shoot them, they just explode,
Yeah.
and the body parts that have the spikes explode into bullets that fly out.
Nice.
So you have to be careful where you hit them. But
But they can also hurt other enemies.
yeah, honestly, 95% of the time, they were the best ever because they would just be around other enemies. I'd hit them, and then they'd kill all the other enemies around them,
Hell yeah.
like moving
Like
bombs.
domino effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking awesome.
So those guys were cool. Then there's the 3 like boss enemies, kind of. Which this is kind of spoilers. I don't know if you want me to talk about them.
It depends how much you want to talk about them.
I mean, all I want to say is that I didn't enjoy them all that much.
Aw.
The only time
Yeah,
I
your
enjoyed,
pitchforks.
I kind of should have waited to talk about this because I do want to talk about the last floor because it's pretty cool, and that's the only time I enjoyed.
We
fighting
can wait
them.
till next week because the game is very new. It came out
Yeah.
literally after we recorded last week, right?
Yeah, I'll wait. To
Wait
talk more
till
about it.
Brian gets
Yeah,
there,
maybe,
and then
maybe
y'all
not.
can.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
not
why I don't wanna
spoil it
talk
even
about
for people listening to the podcast that might want to play it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, we
very
said
new.
before.
Ooh, Chef's mom.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if we.
Fucking-
Yeah.
Right.
Close your ears. We're talking about Super Hot.
I'm really tempted to just say like her whole name and
Address.
and
Hey, Mom.
address,
Social
where
security
I
number.
live.
Come and get me.
I might just
Yes,
bleep her
I
name
know
and
my
not
mom's
actually
social
cut it.
security number.
That's fine. If you can bleep things out, then we can just say whatever we want. Let's all slowly list our social security numbers off.
N word on 3.
No,
1, 2.
no.
1,
no,
2,
no,
3.
no,
Take it away,
no,
Parker.
No is the N word that I'm saying. It's the
Oh,
only one I will.
wait, everyone quiet. Okay, I'm gonna edit this part out. Every time you say no, I'm gonna bleep it.
Again.
And then it just cuts right to us
Please.
laughing.
Please do that.
No, I don't like that.
We'll see
Edit
what
it
happens.
every time you said no there,
Yeah,
too.
you're really
No.
saying it, huh?
Please.
Okay, moving on.
Yes. I don't know what we're going to talk about next. Chef and I beat Halo 1. I don't know if he has anything to say about that.
It aged.
Yeah.
That's basically the same opinion I had, I think. I
It
think me
aged,
and
the
Chef were on the
music is
same
good.
page.
Yeah, there's.
Great music, huh?
I wish I could change the reticle. It.
Yeah,
I
the
was
reticles
thinking
in the
about
first
it a
one are
lot.
bad.
it definitely feels like a game that was made for a console, that was made to be played with a gamepad and not with a mouse and keyboard, because with a mouse and keyboard you can be way more accurate and you don't need the giant circle reticles that they give you.
Yeah. It is offset a bit
That's
with the
a
pistol
good point.
boost. Yeah.
Did you play with the classic reticle or the modern reticle?
There's a modern
There's a
reticle.
modern
You
reticle.
can,
Oh, I can't wait to explain this. Okay, when the game originally released, the reticle wasn't on
Oh,
the
you're
center of the
talking about-
screen. It was like in the
Oh.
lower third of the screen. So did you play classic or modern?
modern.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Do you know why they did it like that?
No.
The reason why is because they had a lot of vertical level design with with the art direction and all that, and so they wanted players to see more of the level. So they made a reticle go down more, so they had to like aim up more, so you can actually see more of the level.
See, that's like a clever trick, but I feel like I would still be like, ew, if I used.
Here's the thing: you don't notice it though.
Yeah. I mean, playing the original, you probably wouldn't. Probably just be like, oh, I gotta aim
I
up a bit.
played it because I heard about it, and people were making. I watched like video essays on it. And people were like defending it, and apparently some games are bringing it back, where they're like adopting the lower third reticle thing. I mean, it's not lower third; it's not that far down. I don't think. Maybe it is.
If it was that far down, I'd be like,
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
I would notice a lower third. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
If you mean like,
It's like a bit down.
I think
Chief
he
is-
means 3 pixels down.
Master Chief is looking straight up to shoot.
It's not.
right in
It's
front
not
of him.
center screen. That's all you
But-
need to know.
I
But,
saw, just because we're talking about Halo, if you don't mind, I saw Halo's trending on Twitter. Like people are getting really excited for Infinite, which
Yeah. The tweet
It's-
that
It's
announced
gonna
it had
suck
like
if they don't
almost,
show anything tomorrow. It's
They
tomorrow.
literally said that they're gonna show campaign gameplay. Why was that sentence so?
I
Right? Okay, hold on. You said that they will show campaign gameplay tomorrow.
Yes, they confirmed
Okay.
this multiple times.
and see,
We're recording on a Wednesday, by the way. So
Yeah.
just want to let that be known.
The Xbox Game Showcase is tomorrow.
And I bet you
No,
I'm not going to upload.
You're dating it.
The
Um,
Xbox Game Showcase is at an indeterminate point in time before or after this podcast.
It may have happened and we have just forgotten. It may not
But-
have
Yeah.
happened.
but I wanted to say because like my experience with Halo is that when the Master Chief, I didn't touch any Xbox stuff until Xbox One came out, and when the Master Chief Collection came out, I played with you, Ryan. I played through co-op,
Mhm.
all of them except for 5 because
Don't you own it? You
Yeah.
just never played it.
well, I kind of stopped caring by then too because I don't really like. I really like 1, 2, and 3, and I don't really care about any of the others. I played ODST and Reach and 4 and didn't think any of them were bad, but I was like, yeah, this is more Halo, and I would play them
Like one over ODST and Reach. I always forget that. Yeah.
well because the one was the first one I played.
I guess, yeah.
I hadn't like I was like marathoning these games, so I
Yeah.
guess that I don't
I'd
know.
go back and play ODST on your own.
Yeah, maybe. I might. I. What I was gonna say though is I'd like to play through a couple of them again to be refreshed before Infinite comes out. Because
I gotta be playing Halo Combat Evolved for the 5th time.
no, because I would probably play it with someone else.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'll play
I-
it again.
yeah, yeah, with Chef. No, but because I like burned out, and I wasn't like I like Halo, but I wasn't like I own 5, but I don't have any interest in playing it. I got it on sale at one point, thinking I might at some point. So if Infinite's good though, that's really exciting. Like it's nice to see the hype for it because was there hype
Yeah.
for Halo 5? I feel like people
Dude.
didn't.
Dude, you have no idea.
Really?
I
There
think I have
was-
an idea, to be honest. I seen some of the hype for it.
Dude, people were fucking super excited for 5 when it was coming out because I mean, at least I was, and people I was, saw were because,
The people in your head.
yeah, like, because the marketing was amazing for it. Like, the trailers that came out beforehand was like,
Yeah,
yo,
they
what
were
the
all-
fuck is going on? And then they had, like, an audio drama
I remember
called,
that.
what was it? Hunt the Truth. And that had like every week I was like, yeah, Hunt the Truth, yo, what's going on next? And it was like getting people hyped up for it. And then I don't know, I feel like it was a Destiny situation, or for anyone that doesn't know, Destiny's entire plot and story basically got like gutted a couple months or like a year before release or something. And I think that's what happened with 5 because that story is a fucking incomprehensible mess. and like not like half of the new cast doesn't get like developed at all. Spartan Locke fucking sucks. He's like so boring. And then there's only like 3 levels where you play as Master Chief and Blue Team. That's the other thing. Blue Team, Master Chief's team, like they're from the books and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, yo, Master Chief's old team is coming back," and then they're there and they just like don't do anything, and they're just like around. So, yeah, there was a lot of excitement going in. People were like, "Yo, this new story is gonna be really fucking cool," and then, yeah. Now I will say, people do really like the multiplayer for 5 because it is good. It's fun. I played a decent amount of it. It's not Halo, but it's like fun multiplayer. Like it's way too fast and there's way too many like movement options and stuff, and like it's just too much. But
I think it's really cool that despite having, because everything, not everything, I guess everything since 4 has had, I would say, at least mixed reception. Like there are a lot of people who aren't crazy about 4, or at least more than past games. Like 1, 2, and 3 all had pretty much universal acclaim, and by fans and stuff like that. And then I think,
well, it was 1 through 3, ODST and Reach, and Halo Wars.
And then like, but since 4, it's been pretty rocky, and I think that it's really cool that the want for it is still there, the hype is still there, which I think is.
Well, it's like it's been 5 years since since Halo 5 came out. It's been a while. It's been as long as it's been from 3 to 4. So it's like people are like, yes, another one. But it's also like, you know how like I was talking about this before, but like it's very much a Resident Evil situation where it's been nothing but like not great spin-offs, and then we have like the worst mainline game coming out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like the same time frame of 5 years since the last main one that we're getting the new one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it is pretty comparable to Resident Evil.
Yes.
I didn't think of that.
Like I've been thinking about that a lot, especially because with like like even if you go through it, it's like, okay, you know, Halo 1, Resi 1, Halo 2, Resi 2, Halo 3, Resi 3. Like ODST Code Veronica kinda, but not really, because Code Veronica's bad and ODST's decent. I'm just mean like it's a spin-off thing that came out, and then I compare Halo Reach to Halo 4, or to Halo Reach to Halo 4, Halo Reach to Resi 4, in the way that it changed the series a lot. Like Halo Reach is the start of 4 and 5's problems, but Halo Reach doesn't have as much of those problems.
That sounds a lot like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, like
place in that timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like Reach introduces armor abilities and sprint and all this other crap, and that ends up being what?
I turned it down.
Oh, okay.
I did it because I want you guys to speak up more.
Oh, okay. But yeah. Anyway,
you need to get close to your mic.
Reach introduces all these things that end up being issues down the line, and then you have Halo 4, which I think is pretty comparable to Resi 5, because there are some people that love Resi 5. I love Halo 4, at least the campaign. I don't care for the multiplayer very much.
Admitting that you're wrong by comparing yourself to people who like Resi 5.
I also like Resi 5. I think it's fun, so whatever.
A
lot of people like Resi 5.
I hear people defend Resi 5.
We should play it soon.
Yeah. It's on the list.
No.
Wrong.
Bad game. Best part, Boulder Punch.
Yes. I mean,
Rest game, that's crap.
Oh, wait. That's where Boulder Punch came from?
Yeah, where'd you think it came from?
It came from 4.
No. Leon doesn't punch any boulders.
Hey, Chef. If
you know what? I don't know why I thought that, because I knew Chris did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually... No, I'm stupid.
Chef, if you enjoy parts of games like that where a character punches something ridiculous...
Have you ever heard of the anime One Punch Man?
No, shut up. I was going to say Yakuza Kiwami 2, when you get there. There's a good one in there.
There's a real good one in there.
Did I ever tell you that I got spoiled on that? Like,
I was also spoiled on that.
But in like a funny way, where I was talking to a professor at school who was really into Yakuza, and I made some comment about playing Yakuza 2 soon, and he goes, you know, Kiryu punches a blank in that game,
Good.
And I went, what?
Good. Anyway, to finish my spiel,
The Ryan section of the podcast.
I guess.
I hope we
Yeah.
don't talk about Halo every week.
This is quickly becoming the Halo podcast.
This
I
is the
mean,
portion of the podcast.
There's a
where
lot of stuff happening with it recently.
if the listeners close their eyes
The thing
during
is,
this portion,
we're
they
probably
can
gonna
see
have
green.
to talk about it next week because of the Xbox conference.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's just a bunch of news
Yeah.
coming out for it.
But hopefully, when we're on episode 5, we don't mention Halo again.
By next week, Parker will have also played
Yeah.
1 again.
I mean, we're gonna have something to say for a while if we're all gonna keep.
Yeah,
playing
we're
them.
all
I'm playing
playing
through
it
2.
for
I'm
the
gonna be playing through 2 with both of you.
Yeah, I'm playing Halo 2 for the first time. We're in the middle of that.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're gonna play again next because I'm doing that.
Tonight.
Replaying Uncharted 4, and I'm also playing Resident Evil 1 for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for the good cutscenes in Halo 2.
They're really good.
They're really
2's
good.
the most quotable.
They're very Why don't we get movies that look like that? Why don't we get like rated R animated Western films that
That's
look like that?
because the animation in that's just a Western animation problem because Japan has anime and shit like that. But over here we have the issue of a weird stigma that animation is for children, and then another weird stigma that is probably caused by the first one that R-rated animation won't sell, despite anime being huge in America and like getting bigger and bigger.
I think like Netflix, and we were talking about Close Enough last week. Like,
Well,
I think we're getting a little closer to that point.
Well,
where we're gonna
we
get
know-
more stuff.
TV is more lenient on adult animation. I'm talking more like
no,
films.
because TV still doesn't have what you're looking for. Because TV's idea of adult animation is completely based on Simpsons and Family Guy, and so what TV thinks like American adult animation, the only stuff that really ever gets to come out is
Brian, I hope you like Sausage Party.
yeah, but no, I mean like
I'm interested in watching it.
but-
To be
but-
honest, I just want to know if it's good. I want to see it.
But like when it comes to TV shows, it's always like it's based off Simpsons or Family Guy, so it's some kind of family-based sitcom. And like even the good ones lately are Close Enough, Bob's Burgers. That shit is still just that. But then also for some
Y'all need to
reason,
watch Archer.
for some reason,
I watched most of it.
so many of these American animated shows for adults think that they have to have this fugly art style because of I think it's the Family Guy influence. And
Well, I think it's just Adult Swim in general's influence because
Adult Swim?
Adult Swim,
No,
doesn't
Adult
allow
Swim-
animation like that.
That's not correct.
It's not what I was
Adult
thinking
Swim
at
makes
all.
tons of Adult Swim is the outlier in this case. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
Fox Animation or like what
Big Mouth.
The new
Star
I was
Trek.
about to fucking
Big
say the
Mouth.
new,
the new
Star,
Star
Trek,
Trek
show
cartoon.
looks like
There's a
fucking
new Star
ass.
Trek cartoon.
Yeah, and it looks like Family Guy style ass.
Jesus Christ.
But no, like Adult Swim makes like Rick and Morty
I
has an
totally
interesting
heard you
visual-
wrong. I thought we were talking about. I didn't think we were talking about the animation that looks like Family Guy and
It's
Simpsons.
because you're not listening to me.
I am doing multiple jobs here.
No, you're talking over me. But yeah. And so Adult Swim in this case is the outlier where they have shit like over the years they made that has all kinds of different visual styles, and they have I mean you get everything from Rick and Morty to the Boondocks to Boondocks. Jesus Christ. Boondocks to Space Ghost and everything in between. I just wish that is one studio, one channel doing really cool stuff, and it hasn't expanded at all. and I think we're gonna have to break through that before we break into having adult animated films that are really cool in America, which sucks because the audience is there for it, definitely. Like and I don't know what could like help us break into that, like Japan has.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's
just like you can't even come up with a solution.
It's just
like,
executives being stupid and not seeing the obvious money in front of them,
It's-
like usual. Like
it-
you think people
also-
that are that rich would know how to make money, but I guess
I was
not.
also thinking about like, oh, why don't we get movies that look like that? Because I'm also I was replaying Uncharted 4, and Uncharted 4, like not even just the cutscenes, just the game itself. There's so much animation going on, and the acting is so good in it that I'm just thinking like, why isn't the Uncharted movie animated? But then of course, why don't you just make it a game? Then that argument comes up.
Yeah.
But it's like,
that's the argument of video games don't need to be made into movies because they're already in the art form that they fit in or are made for.
Yeah.
Like good video game movies can be made much like good movie based video games can be made, but they're not needed. And most of them will be ass.
It's I think it's because every time that happens, unless it's like I don't know what,
To be honest,
like,
a lot of video game movies also, like, the executives don't understand the fan base of a lot of video game franchises, and that's where like most of the problems lie.
well,
Like,
that's what I was gonna say is
if
that
you
every
look
time
up
they
like
make
how the
these, it's
Street
like,
Fighter movie was made, it's like, oh my god, that was like doomed to fail, not because of the director or the writer, but purely because of both executives and Capcom not understanding the film
Well,
industry.
I think this is, like I just said, like I think this is the exact same problem in reverse of like movie licensed games and shit, where it's just being forced onto an art form that it is not made for without like a good idea. Because it's possible to make a very good video game based movie and a very good movie based video game, but
Scott Pilgrim did it, and you can't buy it anymore.
yeah, and it's like there's so many there's good examples, at least of the game one. The movie one are harder to find because there are less of them that exist.
Most
But-
of the good ones are also just anime.
Yeah, and a lot of the good ones aren't even like that good. They're like passable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I
Anyway, get ready to see the Mortal Kombat movie next year, I guess.
Yeah.
oh,
We're gonna see fatalities in live action for the first time,
yo,
which I'm kind of excited for, because the fact that they're like, oh, it's gonna be the first Mortal Kombat movie with an R rating. I'm like, well, that's a nice step towards the right direction. And they have the cast together, and you can see the characters they're playing. And I'm like, oh, I know those characters. This isn't a Resident Evil thing where they just add Alice as the main character.
yeah.
yo, when does the Sly Cooper movie come out?
It's canceled, dude.
Has it ever been officially canceled?
Yeah.
I remember hearing that was
No,
canceled.
no. Someone flat out said, like, because the Ratchet and Clank movie didn't do well, they just cut Sly Cooper.
Well,
That's
that
dumb.
movie didn't do well. Sly Cooper had the better chance of being a good movie because it wasn't like game cutscenes stitched together with extra stuff. Like
I always
The
forget
Ratchet and
that
Clank movie was bad mostly because of writing. I'm gonna say that. Like, I just didn't like the Ratchet and Clank's movie, just the tone and all that. It literally felt like I was watching a preschool movie, and I'm like, but Ratchet and Clank had so much edge and attitude during the PS2
I
era.
mean, that's the same problem with the game that it was paired with.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
there's
what
also
the
like,
deal
I
is.
don't know why, but the humor also works better in the game because they add jokes in during gameplay,
Yeah, but
and it actually like makes more sense than the movie.
I don't think it works that much better though. The game, I like that game, but I think that the humor isn't that like good or memorable in it.
What sucks is that's probably how the franchise is going to be from now on.
I always
let you
forget that. Yeah, thanks, Brian. I always forget that I went to see that movie with you guys. Like it was like early in
We
our
were in high
friendship.
school,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
And have you ever played those games?
No, I was confused and it wasn't good.
Oh, you
Yeah,
do,
I was in the same boat because I never
You
played
don't
them
need
either.
to play them to be confused. Well, even if you did play them, you'd be confused by it.
But it also was like I don't know who any of these characters are. Like I don't care.
Do you guys know
Yeah.
the story about how I remember reading this when the movie was coming out. The guy who played I can't think of the character's name.
I think about how he was replaced.
By Paul Giamatti.
There was also another character that was played by Sylvester Stallone, I think.
Yeah. But no. There's more about it. The character. Okay, somebody look up. Who did Paul Giamatti play in that movie so I can say this with more context?
Well, I'll look it up. So you keep.
Paul Giamatti's character. Yeah.
It sounded like bonk.
Paul Giamatti's character, like he replaced the original voice actor from the game, but they replaced him so late that Paul Giamatti's check was mailed to the old
the
voice
guy.
actor.
That's funny.
You played Drek.
Drek.
Ah, crap.
No, you did it.
But yeah, so I think I read that about Drek's voice actor, which if that's true, fucking hilarious. Well, not that he got replaced, but
I hate that like, oh, for the animated movies we have to have celebrities voice the fucking characters.
I think that's so stupid. I think the Scoob movie is the worst offender of
that.
it.
Yeah, because Matthew
Pissed me
Lillard
off.
should have been.
Not
Chad.
just that, Frank Welker has been
Yeah,
Fred
yeah.
Jones since the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's still alive and he's still doing Scooby-Doo cartoons. So it's like, why'd you replace him? He is Fred. And like,
Celebrities though.
You know, are we?
everyone
moving-
brings up Matthew Lillard because Matthew Lillard is the more famous one because he's also a film actor.
But he was also very
Like,
vocal about it because when it came
Yeah.
out, he was like, "I didn't know this was happening, and I am upset."
Anyway, you know, are we like moving into an era where celebrities start appearing in video games now because we've
Oh,
got
we've been.
but
Kevin
like
Spacey was in Call of Duty one
that's
time.
true, but like it's coming up with a lot more frequency now. Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't mind
What's his
that
face
as
in
long as
Far
most
Cry
of the budget
6?
for these video games don't go towards
I know what
just
you're
these
talking
actors. That's like the only thing I have a problem with because video games are already expensive to make.
See, I don't mind that when it's like a single actor and the role is made for them. Like the Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk is exciting, I think, because that is very clearly
It's tongue in cheek.
they wanted
like,
it to be Keanu Reeves, right?
Yeah.
and it's cool that's Keanu Reeves.
What I think, I think where we are at it right now, where we are with it right now, isn't that bad. I think it would get a lot worse if, say, Halo Infinite was just like, oh, by the way, Master Chief is gonna be voiced by fucking like
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
yeah, in this game.
What if we get to a
Yeah.
point where instead of Matthew Mercer voicing a character in the game, he just appears as Matthew Mercer?
See, I'd be fine with that.
I'd be fine with
that.
that because Matthew Mercer deserves to be more famous.
See, that's the other thing. They use in the video games they use the actor's face and are like very upfront with it. Whereas in the cartoon thing, it's just like I can watch a cartoon movie filled with celebrities and not have any idea that they were celebrities unless I knew their voice that well. And like
Or you looked at the credits.
yeah, and like I don't
Well,
care.
I think the problem's more so that they're not like voice actors.
Yeah, so usually their delivery is fine.
It's just
never
not
like
great.
usually not bad, but it's like
But it's usually it's also just them playing themselves.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause
and yeah.
actors always complain about how they're not interacting with someone else in the voiceover booth. But voiceover artists are like primarily voiceover artists. Like the big ones that we know, like Tara Strong or John DiMaggio, like they're used to it.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill. So it's
Matthew
like
Mercer.
they don't complain. That's just how the gig is, and they're really good at voice acting because that's their primary job.
I think the stigma there. I hope I'm not misusing that word. I keep saying it. Is that
The astigmatism there.
is that cartoon voice actors are not treated like real actors. They're like, oh, that's for silly voice acting for TV shows and stuff, for silly characters. But then when you want a character who's like serious, you got to get a real actor. But like, it's not true because these voice actors have done things that's like you don't things that aren't so cartoony, if that makes sense, quote unquote cartoony.
No.
Oh, you're a voice actor? Do all of your silly voices for me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a voice actor? Name 3 voices.
Name every voice
Name
ever
every
done
voice.
in movies and TV right now. We gotta record. I feel like we gotta experiment and record somewhere else one day because no way did people not hear all the
Yeah,
creaking.
I know. I told him.
And I apologize,
there's
but
nothing
hopefully
we
it's
can do
not.
about it. Who cares?
I can maybe do something about it. I don't know, denoising it.
Y'all don't have to react every time. You can
I know.
We could
Like,
do it-
people are gonna
But
hear
it would be
I don't-
weird if people were hearing these creaking noises and they're like, "What the hell is going on?" And the thing is, you're also you're talking about something that like is interesting. People might be interested in hearing, and then we got creaking going over it.
Yeah,
we
it's
could
whatever.
we could record at Parker's house and have Oliver breathe next to us.
No.
Maybe Eddie will just start barking for no reason.
No.
People-
These are the names of my dogs.
Yeah, I
Not
was-
like
People probably
Not
didn't
my, like,
catch on
siblings.
until you
Oliver
said
is
bark.
his father.
no. Oliver is our dog that is old as fuck. We can't record. We can't even do that as a joke because the off chance that Oliver like dies on recording.
Fucking-
I'm gonna go. I swear to God, if I go home tonight and they were like, Oliver died while you were gone, I'm gonna blame all of you.
Oliver died at exactly 7:01 p.m. tonight.
If-
Rip Oliver.
You guys are using your fortune telling to kill my dog.
This is payback for you breaking my Yakuza.
Do you guys?
What?
He
I
alt-tabbed out and Yakuza broke the other day.
I didn't.
And it's
Aw.
because of Parker.
No, it's
Aw,
just because
it's the
Chef
thing
wanted
that happens
to.
to me all the time when I play Resident Evil.
Chef just wanted to turn my volume up on Discord and fucked his own game. Chef, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
No.
All right.
I mean, like, I had an experience at work today where we got a fucking rear pouring concrete truck.
Wait, remind the people what you do for work.
I install pools. And it was a real bitch to pour the concrete today. Yep, that's it. That's all. I don't know.
I'm sorry to hear
You
that.
ever like
Damn.
when you're installing someone's pool, like sign your name in the concrete or something? Just
No, we would
Put your butt in there.
Like
We
you
would have-
put it on a copier.
we would have to tear the concrete out and pour it again.
That'd be funny.
No. Sometimes people have their kids put their hands in it though.
my
Oh, that's
um
cute. I
Yep.
do that.
at my grandmother's old house when they put the sidewalk in when my mom and her siblings were little, they put like coins in the sidewalk and they're just there now. Because I remember growing up and going to that house and being like, why is there a penny like in the ground?
I wonder if someone with OCD like hates looking at it.
Trying to pick it up.
Like, oh my god, it shouldn't be there.
That fucking episode.
Put it in a bank.
Get the
You
hammer.
see that episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy where there's a quarter stuck to the ground and they spend the entire episode trying to get it off the ground.
That definitely sounds like an Ed and Eddie episode. Oh,
And
man,
it turns
I
out-
should just marathon all of Ed and Eddie so I
I-
remember what happens.
Oh, can I be there?
I don't care. Sure.
Actually-
You know that show's 10 seasons long.
Good.
Thing I did this week, I caught up on Chainsaw Man.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
I want to read that.
Chainsaw Man's so good.
Oh,
It
this
is.
is that's the name of it.
Yeah, it's a manga.
Did we
Yeah.
talk about this on the podcast also?
No,
me questioning the name of
I've
it.
brought it up like a billion times, but
All right.
Okay, actually, so I'm gonna read this at some point soon. So maybe don't say too much, but I'm curious. What is Chainsaw Man about? Because I don't know. What
He's a man who has chainsaw power.
does that mean?
Wow, you set yourself up for him
to
saying that.
explain the premise, I'd have to spoil the first chapter, I guess, which is up to you.
Mm,
I mean, you could just say that it's a world where there are devils,
Yeah,
and powers come from making contracts with devils.
Yeah.
Or in the
sometimes.
main character's case, something that happens during the first chapter. But he is friends with a little chainsaw dog demon devil thing.
Hmm.
It's pretty cute.
Yeah, his name's Poochie or something.
Pochita
Pochita,
It
Isn't
sounds like a Pokemon.
yeah.
Ponyta?
looks kind of like an
I was
adult
thinking Puccini.
Pokemon.
It does,
Puccina? Puccina?
Puchiana,
Pucciana.
Yeah.
because it's
It's barely pronounced normal English words correctly, and everyone gives me shit
Well-
when I
well,
pronounce a Pokemon's name.
see no, you're fine there because it's pronounced Puchiana, but it makes sense to think it's Puchiina because it's pooch and hyena combined.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um,
But a final bit on Chainsaw Man, I guess, is the world's cool because all the devils are like the power scale or whatever you want to call it is the devil is stronger based on the overall fear that things have for it.
I've seen that. Something else.
Christianity,
God gets stronger the more you fear him.
the
Fuck.
Bible.
That was a pretty good one. I think I'm thinking of Babadook.
I don't
I
remember.
thought
how
you
the-
said Marmaduke.
Oh my god.
No, he's
Fucking
talking about.
Marmaduke.
He's talking about.
Marmaduke is extremely powerful because I don't know what you're doing if you're not afraid of him.
No, he's talking about horror movie monster and LGBT icon, the Babadook.
Oh, hey, you're right.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I'd like to read Chainsaw Man. In general, I am now in the after reading, after all of One Piece being like the second manga I've ever read, and spending a whole year reading One Piece, I've now just gotten in the mood of like, oh, I just like reading manga, And I always have, but I've been like I'm like back in, if that makes sense, because I only read like little bits when I was younger.
Every time
So-
I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
So I think I'm gonna start going through stuff on Shonen Jump. So I've Chainsaw Man saved, but I've been reading a couple. I read the first couple chapters of Spy Family, or Spy X Family, Spy Cross Family.
Yeah.
It's not.
Do you pronounce
Hunter
the X
X
in
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you pronounce the X in Hunter Cross Hunter?
God.
Is it Hunter Hunter? Spike's
Disgusting.
Family. But yeah, and Chef, you haven't, because Ryan's read all of Spy Family, and I know Brian, you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
No.
Chef, you've never read it.
No.
So
Spy Family, a ripoff of that one Disney Channel show, The Replacements.
No, it's more
No.
like the Nickelodeon cartoon, The X's,
Oh my god.
because they're all
Wasn't
spies.
the X's a ripoff of The Replacements?
No, because in The Replacements, it was just the kids who were spies. No, wait. The adults were
Spy
spies,
Kids?
and the kids got the.
Here's the thing: only
parents.
one of the parents was a spy. The other guy was just a stuntman,
Okay.
like an
okay.
evil
That's,
Knievel type.
that's closer.
I
to
am
Spy
actually
Family than
pulling
I
this
guess.
out of my
Okay,
ass.
You might be onto something then. 'Cause yeah, in Spy Family, it's
like
the dad is a spy, and he's
Yeah.
given an assignment that requires him to get married and have a kid for part of his cover. So
and have a kid. Like
Yeah.
he has to like.
he has to acquire a child.
now he, at least where I am, well, he adopts someone, but then
Okay,
like, he adopts
Yeah,
a
like,
girl,
that,
and
that
like,
would have been weird.
no, like he adopts a, well, 'cause the girl already has to be like of school age, but he like adopts her and he adopts her and marries someone and what he adopts someone and adopts the girl, marries someone and forges all the documents so that it looks like that she's always been his kid, and so that the girl has been married to him for longer. But what he, at least where I am right now, what he doesn't realize, and this is what makes it similar to what you're talking about with the replacements, is that the woman he marries is an expert assassin that he doesn't realize, and the girl, who is his daughter, is a telepath. And none of them know about each other's secrets.
That's
Well,
not true.
Except for the telepath knows all of the secrets because she can read her parents' minds, which is fucking hilarious because the girl is like 8, and they think she has no idea what's going on, and she has every idea what's going on.
Wait, like okay, what's like the age demographic for this
It's like a
series?
It's in Shonen Jump.
It's
so
in Shonen
like
Jump,
young
yeah.
So, like,
14-year-old boys,
kids
I guess.
can read
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
girl
I mean,
is
there's some like
hilarious.
death, but it's not like anything.
I didn't know if there was gonna be some like
No,
There's blood.
R-rated shit in it.
No,
no.
but
You mostly follow the kid anyway.
yeah, the telepath girl is definitely the best character because she's hilarious.
Oh my
There's
God,
some I didn't get here yet, but I on Twitter a page got spoiled for me that was really funny where it's because the girl is just really silly.
Yeah.
So it was something of her saying like trying to show off to another kid, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, I've got a dog, and it just cuts to the kid going, so, and it cuts to her like like so appalled at the fact that this kid doesn't give a shit that she has a dog, like appalled at the fact that this kid didn't think that a dog is the coolest thing ever. And the panel's really funny looking. It's just so
her expressions are the best. There's so many like smug Anya faces going around that are like so good.
it's very the writing's really fun where it's just the spy or the assassin think she's an idiot, and
I don't think she's an idiot.
well, no, they think she's a
not- I don't
child.
think she's like smart, but
Well,
they
they think she's pretty dumb,
well, at
even
first, yeah.
but then they don't realize that she knows all of their secrets because she can read their minds, and so he'll like say something, and in his thoughts he'll say like what he's hiding, and then her reaction will just be to whatever he's saying in his head. It's pretty funny. I saw another really good panel that I screenshotted.
I thought you were
he's trying
getting
to
your phone
get-
out to like show the viewers.
Well, I was gonna show it to Brian, but I have to describe it anyway. But it's the dad is trying to get, in order to keep up appearances, he's trying to get the wife and mostly the daughter to appreciate more refined things because they're supposed to be a wealthy family. So he takes him to this art museum, and he's here. We must be accustomed to fine art and the like. And it's just the girl in the background pointing at this painting, and she says, "Papa, boobies. I can see her boobies." And it's a lot of jokes like that. It's fun so far, so I'm having fun going through it.
I can't wait for you to get to the dog. The dog is
I
great.
can't believe I was kind of on point with comparing it to the Replacements.
I
can't-
didn't
I
realize
guess.
how on point of a comparison that was.
And it's
until
such
we
a
thought about
random
it.
show to bring up that, like, what, got 2 seasons, I think?
Really, I remember that show always being on.
I remember it barely being on.
I've seen so much of that show, but I feel like it was always on at a weird time. I don't know. It was one of those things. The Replacements was one of those things that I could always count on being TV on a day I was homesick. It was like Disney was going to be showing The Replacements. If I went on Cartoon Network, they were either going to be showing reruns of What's New Scooby-Doo or they were going to show a Scooby-Doo DVD movie. And Nickelodeon was probably just going to play SpongeBob. So I was probably watching Nickelodeon because that's the best choice out of all of those. But like that, I just remember Replacements always fucking to the point where I was like, ugh, no, something else, please.
Gotcha.
Brian, cut this out if you need to. Can I move my mic for a sec? Because I just wanted to.
Yeah,
I had
you
my
can.
phone on me before. I don't know where the hell it went. So I was like, phone will look
Where's my
something
phone?
up.
Just as long as you move it back
thirsty.
in a comfortable
Should have grabbed
position.
water before we started.
Yeah. And drink into the mic.
I have water.
I'm a professional at that.
Yeah. I was trying
Oh, here it is.
the other day to drink as loud as you. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
I had
wait.
my freaking.
I don't
was
know
like,
how
"Bleh,
I do
bleh."
it.
If you cut that part out, make sure you leave this in. But we have to talk about how Brian is the loudest drinker I've ever heard, and I don't mean like alcohol or anything like that. I mean when he takes a sip of water, it is these gulps. And when we're on Discord with him, we can hear when he takes a sip, and we can never hear when anyone else drinks water, and we don't know how he does it.
And it's not like a slurping sip.
No, it's
like,
just
it's not that.
we
It's
can just
flat
hear
out-
the sound of you swallow, and it's like,
Got a
It's way more
strong-
disgusting.
Got a strong throat
But-
there, bud.
yeah.
I guess.
Forces that fucking
that,
water
or it's a
down your gullet.
horrible throat, and there's something wrong with it. Maybe I
Screaming
should
for
get
help.
checked.
I mean, like when I'm trying to impersonate you, I'm like forcing water down my throat, and it's just not nearly as loud.
Brian, drink some water on microphone for us right now.
Yeah.
I don't have water.
Quick,
Edit
go.
it
Swallow
in.
some spit quick.
Just edit in some wave
Oh.
sounds and go.
What if I actually just
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
edit in like a wave crashing on the beach, and that's the sound effect?
All right, Brian. Here's what it sounds like when Brian drinks water. Ready? Do it.
Okay, there it is.
Is there anything else? Any other topics we wanted to cover today?
Ryan
Or,
watched the Lupin the Third movie for the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time.
I did watch that for the first time. That's a really cool movie.
Lupin Sensei.
The Castle of
Lupin.
Cagliostro.
Yeah, Lupin the Third.
There's
Castle
multiple
of-
Lupin the Third movies, right?
Yeah, the first one, 1979's,
Wait, is it the
Lupin.
first one?
because it came out when the original show was coming out.
All right.
Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro. First Lupin the Third film, also first film ever, first full feature directed by Hayao Miyazaki before he started Studio Ghibli.
His best movie, Fight Me.
I thought you liked Pig in a Plane more.
I know.
No.
Wow.
It's the best Ghibli movie, Pig in a Plane.
Pig in a blanket.
What did you
Pig
think
in a
of? Because I also really love Castle of Cagliostro. What did you think of it, Ryan?
plane. I thought it was really cool. I liked it a lot. I wouldn't call it my favorite of his movies, but
Well, what's your
I liked it a
favorite?
lot.
I'm curious. I don't think I know.
I don't think I know because I don't know. I've watched
Pig
a
in a
ton of them
plane?
in a really short amount of time, and they kind of like blend a bit in my head.
I kind of had
But it's
that
probably
problem,
Spirited Away,
but since
I don't
then I've rewatched so many of them that I think I now know.
See,
I know like Castle in the Sky I have to rewatch.
it's not. I don't think Castle of the Sky is. It's good, but I don't think it's his best. For
Still want to rewatch it.
no, yeah, I'm just saying. I have a similar opinion where like I think every Ghibli movie I've watched has been good, and a lot of them have been great. But it's hard to pick out one above the rest because they're very. Like I sit down and go, oh yes, this is a Ghibli movie, and it's very. Not that they're like all the same or anything, because I definitely like them all the ones I've seen, but they're like a very consistent level of quality, I think. So it's hard for me to pick out one. I think Spirited Away sticks out the most for me, but that's
That's what I
also
was
really
gonna say. Like,
Sticks
that's
out the
the one I
most
would-
to everyone.
those are the out of Miyazaki movies. Out of just Studio Ghibli, like other directors, I've only seen a couple other things. Though out of the three that I have watched, Well, one is Arrietty, which I'm not that crazy about it. But the other two from other directors, I thought were easily better than all of the Miyazaki films. One of which was Grave of the Fireflies, which is a horribly depressing and an amazing movie.
It's also my favorite Ghibli movie.
And the other one is my favorite Ghibli movie, Whisper of the Heart, which I thought was just absolutely gorgeous. And
Country roads.
Isn't that like dangerous to have a whisper of the heart?
Yeah.
my brother's got a heart murmur. Like every once in a while it skips a beat. So when I was little, my mom was like, don't like scare him. You can give him a heart attack. I scared him a lot though. It's fine.
Ryan is just staring at
Parker's gonna get home and Oliver's gonna be dead. His brother's gonna be dead.
Oliver's gonna be dead, and his brother's so shocked that he died.
Yeah. Oliver lets a death wail. And...
Why?
A death wail? It's just gonna sound like. No. It's gonna be like.
I thought you meant like the animal. Like I thought a whale was going to come out of my dog. I was like,
why would you
that would
like
be
a
shocking.
whale in a Grim Reaper outfit is gonna come and your brother's gonna see it.
Ryan has prophesied that my dog will be taken by the death whale.
Opens his mouth and scoops
It's gonna
Oliver's
be like
soul
the
up.
whale from Metal Gear Solid 5 that's like on fire and he comes in your dreams.
Oh,
What the fuck are you talking?
I've only played
not remember
I've only played the first Metal Gear Solid. What do you mean don't remember? We've never
I
played.
Hold on.
10
I
minutes of the
haven't
first one.
played 5, but I can tell you right now that was in the trailer.
I didn't watch the
They
trailers.
teased before it was at the Game Awards once.
I
Before
didn't-
they revealed it was Metal Gear Solid 5. It was like I think it was just called Phantom Pain.
It's called
Going
Fire
into it.
Whale.
No, it's called Phantom Pain.
No. But this was when instead of saying it was from Konami, they said that the development studio was called Moby Dick Studios.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Twisted Dick Studios.
I hope I'm right about that. I remember there being a big flaming whale and everyone going apeshit, like, what the hell does that mean? But then everyone also was like, oh, it's probably Psycho Mantis.
He's still around?
I don't know. I've only played 1, 2, and half of 3.
They also like to jump around in timelines, so
Oh, yeah,
do they
that's
even
true.
know where that one was taking place?
Oh, I think
At
it's
the
like
time?
a prequel, actually.
Yeah, but
5 is
at
the
the
very
time-
first one, I
Oh,
think.
there you go. But even then, at the time, I don't know if they had any idea. I don't
think
know.
it's
At the time, I was.
5, 3, 1, 2, 4.
I've only
I
played
don't-
one.
I don't know where, what's the fucking PSP one called?
I almost
Freedom something.
said. I was gonna say Phantom Hourglass.
It's like Freedom Walker or something.
No.
Peace Walker. Peace Walker.
Yeah.
Freedom Walker.
That was a pretty close one. That was a good guess.
Freedom Walker.
Yeah, Peace
Yeah.
Walker is canon, but
Freedom
I don't
Stroller.
remember what. For all I know, it's probably just in between 1 and 2. I don't know.
I don't know. I should play more of those. Ooh, don't touch me, chef.
I really like 3, and I was like thinking 3 was the best one, and yet for some odd reason I only got halfway through it and I didn't beat it. But now I want to go back and play it again.
I want to go back and play all the ones I haven't played. I
really want
haven't.
to play 5, but I want to make sure I play 3 and 4 before 5. And I don't know when the hell I'm ever going to get to 3 and 4.
What are you looking at?
in time.
Oh,
Look at your phone.
So, what's next?
Gentlemen,
Men?
men.
How long we at? What's the time at, Brian?
Dude, we're only at like
It hasn't
an
been
hour
that
20.
long. Yeah.
Less than
I
an
mean,
hour 20.
If we have nothing to talk about, short one's fine.
Should I mention how in Resident Evil I forgot to save twice?
Oh my god.
I was
Oh
gonna
my
kill
God.
you. I was like, give me the control.
Well, here's I'm gonna bring it
So
up.
well,
because
tell them what game you're talking about first. Like
I said Resident Evil.
okay. There's lots of Resident Evil
Oh
games.
well, the first one
Resident
that's a
Evil.
remake
Called Resident
because
Evil.
earlier in the podcast I even said I'm playing the first one
You
for the
did.
first time. So anyway,
Can I explain this from a viewer's perspective of this as someone who's watching you
sure,
stream it?
A
and
viewer
then I'm
that-
gonna defend
a
myself.
viewer that is very into Resident Evil and has
Yeah.
played those
I
games
had the same
We don't
reaction.
down to a
know.
rhythm.
Yeah.
Listen, I've seen the stats. The person that has seen our podcast the most is Ryan, because you viewed it like 5 times. I think.
No, Ryan's talking about viewing you watch the game, not
No,
listening
I'm
to
bringing
our
up something
podcast.
else. I'm not
Okay. I was very
because
confused as
everyone's
to what
like,
you were
oh, no
talking
one
about.
listens to this, but like I've been advertising on Twitter, and some people have, and I can see the stats. So
Yeah.
Name them all right now. Like you're looking right
Oh,
at
you're a
them.
fan of the
And
podcast?
their
Name
addresses.
5 viewers. Anyway, so Brian's playing Resident Evil 1 remake the other day or yesterday, And
Jill's campaign.
yeah, he's playing as Jill.
The right
And
choice.
That actually is important to note because you were doing the V-Jolt part. For anyone that knows
V-Jolt.
Resident Evil 1, he got to the point where you can make V-Jolt and fuck up Plant 42.
You do maths.
Yeah.
And math wins the day.
He had to redo that part 3 separate times because after... Yeah.
3 times.
First time he went through it, made the V-Jolt, got Plant 42. Actually, no, the first time... it started with you walking into the boss room without actually putting the stuff on Plant 42, which was kind of my fault. Which was my fault because I couldn't remember where you had to go to put the stuff
Because
on.
you
said
viewing
he
me
does it.
stream out through Discord, you were basically being like, "Oh, Brian, you gotta do this and then this." I didn't know what the hell V Jolt was supposed to be.
You wouldn't even have any of that was it for me, so don't give me shit.
I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
But you told me like, "Oh, go into this room," and I went into the room. They're like, "Oh, you didn't do the thing yet." I'm like, and then all of a sudden I couldn't. At first I thought I couldn't leave, and you're just like, "Oh, I don't think you can leave."
because I couldn't
And me
remember.
as someone playing the game for the first time, I'm just like, "Oh, what?"
So wait, you
But
fucked
thankfully
up
I
the
did.
saving though?
Yeah, so he he does all this shit, and then he beats Plant 42. He gets the cutscene and everything. He does all that, goes to leave, and I didn't even notice this because I would have yelled at him. He didn't save before he walked out of the guardhouse, and then he just walks back and gets fucked up by 2 dogs, and dies.
In my
And-
defense, I didn't know the dogs were going to be there because I
But you
cleared
beat a
out.
boss, why
Hold
would you
on,
save the
shut
game?
up,
After,
shut
no,
up.
no,
Hold
no,
on,
no.
hold on.
I
You
know,
save
right?
after
That's
you
what I
do
said.
anything big.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like,
I can't wait to defend myself
yeah,
because
limited saves when they give you a
that
billion
is
ink
stupid.
ribbons.
That is
They
stupid.
give you a billion ink ribbons.
Yeah, you.
No, they don't.
I was thinking about this, and
You
I was
even
like,
told me I was on 1 ink ribbon left, and even you were like, "Oh, whoa, Brian, that's really low. You gotta be
but
careful."
then you got 3 more
Oh my god!
immediately after that.
I'm playing the game for the first time. I don't know when they come up.
Viewer,
But unless you have more,
listener,
until you have 0, who fucking cares?
listener, Brian just turned very pink.
He was really red there.
Because you guys look at me like I'm an idiot.
Because here's my
'Cause
thing.
you
'Cause
are.
I was thinking about it afterwards, and I was like,
Yeah.
Don't fucking high five, pieces of shit. I don't like.
because when we were in the call, I was like, all right, whatever. But I was thinking about it afterwards, and I'm like, you're complaining for all the wrong reasons. You're not even complaining because you ran out of saves or something. You're just complaining because you were like, oh well, I thought I might need more saves, so I just didn't use them. And it's
Save
Well,
like,
my
anytime,
frame of
idiot.
mind was I was gonna go back to the mansion and save there
Why?
why?
because I didn't think enemies were gonna be there because I cleared it
Why?
out on the way to the fucking whatever
Those dogs
house
don't
was.
respawn. You just didn't kill those dogs.
But why?
So
Why would you not? Why would it matter if you would save after you do the big thing
I know.
before you do anything? Even if you're like, oh, this might save some time, it's like it won't save time if you die.
Yeah.
How many times? This is not. I'm not trying to like flex on you or anything. I actually just can't remember how many. Because Ryan, I played that game
Yeah.
with like I was playing it. And you were watching me play it.
Yeah.
How many times do you remember me dying in that game? Do you have any idea?
It
Like,
was a
more than
couple
you did.
times.
But I don't think it
Well,
was that.
yeah, because when I played through the first time, I was like, this is my first like real Resident Evil game. I'm just gonna use a guide and like play on easy and just like get a feel for it. And then like every other time I played them, I just played them through normally. But like I died once against a hunter, and that was it.
But I still don't remember dying that many times.
No, you
though.
didn't. You died a couple, but it wasn't that many times.
I only remember one time dying and being pissed that I lost progress. That only happened to me like
Probably a
once.
hunter, because he
No.
died to a hunter too.
No, it was like early.
Oh, it was the Crimson Heads.
Probably.
It's because you didn't burn any of the bodies, and
Oh, yeah.
and all the Crimson Heads
Here,
came
yeah,
back.
there's to make Brian feel better. You want to tell another story about someone being an idiot with Resident
Sure.
Evil?
When I'm finished with this one, I'm not even done yet. So
Oh,
yeah, he
okay,
goes
yeah,
back,
yeah.
gets murdered by the dogs, goes back, does the Plant 42 thing again, beats it, goes the cutscene, walks out. I miss it again. He fucking gets back to the mansion, and then he gets the hunter cutscene where the hunters come out, and he fucking dies to the hunters in there. And I'm like, oh well, you saved, right? He's like,
I remember I just laughed.
yeah. I was like,
Why didn't you save after the?
Okay,
I know, that's what I was saying.
Hold on.
well, that time he just forgot.
That time I actually just forgot.
Yeah.
But I was so ready for the dogs. I was like, I'm gonna make it this time.
Yeah, you got the
But I
shotgun
also
and
like I
everything.
knew I should have saved, but I still like just didn't. I just forgot. But I was
Oh,
still
that's
like I was ready
stupid.
for the dogs because I thought the dogs were the only things in my way because you get the key that has the helmet. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
so I know where to use this.
Yeah.
I didn't know something was just going to
What,
trigger.
You thought the game was gonna be nice to you? You
I
thought
don't
Resident Evil was gonna
It's
be
a
nice?
horror game, dude.
Bro, I'm backtracking to an area I already was. I thought I was safe. Like, what do you want from me?
Never assume
I'm
that.
playing the game
Just-
for the first time. I don't know what to expect.
Brian,
For
never
future
assume
reference
that
to the
in any
next
Resi
games,
game.
yeah, don't assume that ever. It's fine. It's your first one.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just busting your
Limited
balls.
saves is a dumb fucking thing.
Brian, yeah.
Listen, here's the thing.
And
At the
that's
end of-
not something
Brian,
anyone
Brian,
should defend.
Brian,
I like
limited saves. My thing is, it's not even an issue because you never did run out of saves. So it's like,
Yeah.
who cares?
That's the thing.
If they never run out, they're basically infinite anyway. So it's like, who cares?
Like, I'm not gonna defend limited saves and be like, oh, it makes it better, but I don't think it makes it any worse either. It's kind of this because they give you so many in that game.
It's
I'm
a
like,
nothing
oh.
thing, which is another. I think you could use that as an argument for saying, oh, then what's the point? Just not have them.
I agree with
Which
that.
I would agree with. I honestly think that Resi 1 would probably be better if they just removed them. My thing is, I'm still gonna bust your balls because you were just being stupid about it. Anyway, like that's my thing. But I do agree that yeah, they probably could just be better with that because it does lead to another annoying thing when you go to the typewriters. They have to fucking get them out of the box every time, put them in your
Oh, yeah.
inventory, make sure
And
they're
the
in there.
thing is, they also save with that still in your
Yeah, so you have to-
inventory. So when you
that-
boot up
Take
the
it out
game
every time.
again, like on another day, you then have to like make sure you
Yeah.
don't forget to go back to the item box and put the ink ribbons back in.
That was my biggest problem with it. It's not even just when I like closed the game. It was almost every time I saved, I would walk away, and then as soon as I pick something up, Ryan would be like, "Why do you have ink ribbons in your inventory?" I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit."
Inventory management's another thing you kind of got to get used to because like even when you were playing yesterday, like you had keys for like the mansion in your inventory where you're walking around the guardhouse and stuff, and I'm like you're using like 3 inventory slots for stuff you can't even use here, which is like it's your first one, like whatever, but it's it's just something you get used to.
Resi 2 will go smoother when you play through it.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait to play Resi 2 because I feel like I'm just gonna not look at menus as often. Well, there's a reload button, right?
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
you can also reload.
Wait, there's a reload button in 1.
Yeah,
There's a reload button in 1.
You have to be
Yeah.
aiming.
yeah. You have to aim and then you.
I
just hit a
didn't
button.
know that.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
my god. It's
I thought you had to
square,
go to
right?
the goddamn
Yeah,
menu.
it's like
though.
square or something. Yeah.
Or
The game
whatever.
doesn't tell you that.
I'm sure
Figure
it
out,
does.
idiot. No, there's the manual.
It definitely
There's
does in a manual that you
What?
get.
There's the right at the beginning of the game. There's a file you have just in your
Oh
thing.
shit! Is this something I can like look at whenever?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So-
I
this
mean,
is-
granted, it isn't like a just.
I
in
got beat up
controls.
last episode, and this episode everyone's shitting on me for being an idiot.
No,
Resident
I-
Evil.
Listener, we're about to beat him up again.
Listen, I mean,
Alright.
it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. It's just one of those things you just missed. I don't know. I didn't know there was a parry in Revengeance until I got to Monsoon the first time I played it.
That's weird.
No,
'Cause they
I
teach you
The
that.
first time I played it, I didn't know, and I was stupid. The second time, I just didn't know how to do it right. Like I did it on accident in the
Yeah, I
tutorial,
was
and
gonna
I was
say,
like, I don't understand.
I
how
knew
I
it
did
was
that.
there, and I didn't understand how to use it until the end of the game. Now, I was also, in my defense, if anyone listened to this and were like, who the fuck is this idiot? When that game came out, I was like 14.
Yeah, same. Like
But you didn't play when it came out, though.
Yeah, but it
I
was
played
still
it, like,
like
a year
less
after
than
it came out.
16 when I played it. Like, it was.
Hmm.
I was not an adult.
yeah, brain's still developing.
Yeah.
I remember the menus in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance are not helpful at all with
No.
you navigating. It took me until like almost the last couple levels of the game to figure out that there is a dodge move that you can buy, and the way you did it
Yeah.
is you have to press X and square at the same time.
He does like a slash and like moves out of the way.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember.
but it's
using
still a
that the
dodge
second
move, and I was like, I could have had this whole game for real.
time. Mhm.
And there's also just some other moves where I was just like, oh, I had no idea I could buy this. I had no idea. And even like the descriptions for some of the moves was also kind of weird, where I didn't exactly know what the hell they were
Yeah.
talking about. Because they don't do like the Devil May Cry thing they've been doing since 4, where they show you a little short clip of what the move looks like.
Oh god, that's so nice. Every action game needs that.
Or at least pictures. Like,
That's something I've been paying attention to lately of like upgrades in games, like ones that upgrade your moveset and stuff like that. And what are like good and bad examples of it? Or
wait, good or bad examples of what again?
I just mean like upgrades that are meaningful.
Oh.
upgrades, like in Devil May Cry, I've played enough Devil May Cry games to know what upgrades I want. Like I want to go for Stinger and
Double jump should be.
Yeah, what's
first.
the step? Enemy step, is that what it's
Enemy
called?
step, yeah.
Enemy step.
Like stuff like that, I want to go for as soon as possible. And then, but it's not even just action games. Like I was playing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, and I got to the guy who, if you collect like shards in that game, he gives you, okay, you can equip badges that give you abilities, and some of them are attacks and some of them are like other benefits, and if you have the shards, he sells you like super rare ones. And I went through the list yesterday. I went, some of these are really cool, and I could immediately see how they would make things better. One that all the badges, I'm early enough in the game, and all the badges I have are for like 1 and 2 slots. I don't know. I saw one badge. It was like one of the more expensive ones. Well, what it did is, only Mario and one partner can be active in battle at once, and you can swap out partners mid-battle, but that uses the partner's turn to swap. There's one badge that just goes, oh, they can attack after swapping. And I'm like, that completely changes how I would play many of these battles. If I could just do that, it would make things a lot easier. So I'm just like, oh, saving for that one.
Yeah.
And I always find upgrades like that cool. Ones that I can immediately see how they're going to be useful, and then can completely restructure the way my strategy in a way that like feels good.
Yeah, there's a fun one in Persona 5 where like throughout most of the game you have like your main party that's in the fight, and then your like backups, and you can't, I think they can switch in if a character like goes down or something like that, like, but that's like the only way they can get in. Like it's really rare to happen. But eventually, after you do a social link with the one girl long enough, you get an ability that just lets you swap them whenever. So it's like, oh, okay. So it's like suddenly like type advantages and whatever are way easier, because it's like, yeah, I could just swap in whoever's like good against this enemy all the time and stuff. It makes things a lot easier. But yeah, I agree with you. I was thinking of something else when you were mentioning that about upgrades in games. Like active magic abilities and like Metroidvanias and stuff usually suck.
What do you mean active? What does
Like,
that mean?
there's usually, you always a lot of time you have like a magic bar.
One thing in my mind I'm thinking of, and I hope it's what you're talking about.
Like you have a magic bar or whatever, and then you can like, you get like gem, like a magic gem or whatever throughout the game that gives you an ability that uses some of the magic bar, and you do like a super attack or whatever. And they always fucking suck. They always suck every single game.
I have
play
no
them,
idea.
and they
Like, I don't
fucking
know-
suck.
Wait, I'm sorry, Ryan. You played Symphony of the Night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Symphony of the Night. Some of those were useful.
Well, are you talking about like the throwable items and stuff? Because I'm not
No.
thinking of those.
No.
You're talking about, like,
the
What kinds
magic
of things
meter.
are you thinking of?
Blasphemous in particular from
Because
recently.
items in Symphony of the Night use hearts. But
Yeah.
there is a magic meter in Symphony of the Night, and that's how you can do all the powers where you change into different animals.
No, those are cool. Those aren't what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about like in Blasphemous, there's a bunch of like runes or whatever you can get. That you like, oh, he puts his sword in the ground, and then like lightning appears by the sides of him, whatever. They always suck. It's always way faster and easier to just hit something with your sword and kill it, like almost all of the time. It's how it is in like I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I swear to God, it's a feeling I get in so many games where I'm like this. It's just faster with like the main weapon, so why would I even bother using this cool thing? Like it looks cool, but I'd be better off just like attacking it with the sword, not even risking it.
I don't really remember any of that in like Super Metroid or Hollow Knight.
Super
or-
Metroid
Super
doesn't
Metroid
have-
doesn't. All you have are
Yeah.
counters for missiles and items.
Well,
and all
you
that.
could
Yeah,
use
Super
like
Metroid Hall.
Metroidvanias, and I
It's whichever
on the Castlevania side.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said that. I should have just said like some 2D games in general that have that kind of system. I wish I could think of more examples, because I know for a fact that I think this
Does
a lot
Hollow
of the
Knight
times.
do it? Because I know you're a fan of
No,
Hollow Knight.
No.
no, Hollow Knight has
Oh, then maybe you just
basic moves.
hate that thing in Blasphemy.
No, but
Blasphemous.
I've had this thought before. I know
Blasphemous?
I've thought of this before.
Ah, that's blasphemy.
I'll try to think of
just
something.
random
else.
thing because you mentioned it. What do y'all think about the term Metroidvania?
It sucks
I
shit.
wish
It's
I
stupid.
wish we replaced it.
Search action.
Yeah, I would say in Japanese, in Japanese, those games are called search action games, and I think that is actually a perfect
That's
descriptor.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
That
exactly
is
what
like
they
I
are.
almost want to start calling them that, but I know people are gonna be like, "The fuck are you talking about, white
Yeah,
boy?"
because even like big game journalist websites like IGN, they'll like mention Metroidvania very casually just to describe certain games.
Yeah. Man, yeah, you gotta be like talking to. It's like it's just a thing you don't notice talking to people that know games and stuff a lot. But like I remember when we were at school together, three of us. I ended up talking to this one guy who was like totally not into any game shit at all, and I had to like write up. It was an English class because I had to write a paper, and I was talking about games in the paper for whatever reason, and I mentioned platformer. Like he was reviewing my paper and it mentioned platformer. He's like, "What the fuck is a platformer?" And I was like, "Oh, I
The
guess
thing
some
is, the
people
teacher
wouldn't
might
know
not
what the
know
hell-"
it either.
Yeah,
Probably not, but it was just one thing where I was like, "Oh, I just assume people know this. I guess I shouldn't do that."
yeah,
But
it's-
there's like
it's-
not a way to explain that.
it's yeah,
Otherwise,
because
then,
I
what do you
remember
say,
having
like-
trouble.
A game where most
games.
of the gameplay
Yeah.
is you jumping on platforms.
That's so
Yeah.
wordy, and if I were the professor, I'd be like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, in that case, when you're writing the paper, you just introduce the term, explain what it means, and then just start using.
That's
the
what I
term.
ended up doing. But like in the
But-
paper originally, I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, this is a platformer." Blah 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 blah. blah.
That is an interesting thing where like, I mean, all hobbies have this, I think, but I think it's just really strong in video games where it has its own language that comes with it, and you say these terms, and then you'll casually mention them, and people will be like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and then
What the hell's a turkey? What does that have to do with bowling?
the other day I
Yeah, advanced bowling terms.
I said something about One Piece to my family the other day, and my mom thought I was talking about a swimsuit.
Amazing.
My parents probably don't even know what the word anime is.
Anime?
Anime?
Can we watch anime with your dad?
Oh shit!
Can we make that
He'd
series on our
probably
channel?
like
Hate it. Yeah, he would just...
no, he'll see that it's animated and he'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch it. It's not real."
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I guess
there's
that's
like no
fair.
He
chance.
falls for the stigma we were talking about earlier.
Unless it's incredibly funny. But here's the thing: he only likes Western humor, dude. He loves the movie Madagascar.
That's not a bad movie.
Yeah, Madagascar one's
Well,
not a
your
bad
dad
movie.
likes Ricky Balboa, so like
No one knows that story.
I know, but
Can I tell it? Can I end up?
Why do you want to tell it?
it's his
I like-
dad.
Yeah, but I love that story because
He was there when it happened.
yeah, I was there. Can we end the podcast with the Ricky Balboa story?
I don't,
Is that enough time? Like, should I?
It's
we
fine.
can talk more if you guys want because
I didn't eat anything. I want to
I'm
go
tired.
eat spaghetti.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm just saying because you guys kept telling me to cut shit, and I'm like,
Okay,
this is gonna be the shortest episode then.
yeah, who cares?
It's
So-
gonna keep getting shorter until it's like 1 second.
So
Just like a
Uh,
sneak.
It's episode 10. It's like 10-minute long episode.
Yeah.
all right, let's
Ad
the,
revenue on YouTube.
the Ricky Balboa story. So
Ricky.
back in high school, I went over to Brian's house, and Brian comes from a family that is like 100% Polish. Like both your parents are from Poland, right?
Yes.
And so they
Why
have
are you telling the story?
what? Because I like telling the story. What does it matter? And
This is story appropriation.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
I've
this is
told
a
this
story
story how
from-
many? I've told the story more times than you have.
I mean, you're the reason I know this story, sure, but
Yeah, that's
exactly.
fair.
Oh, because I don't.
it belongs to
But-
Brian.
You find it way more amusing than me. That's why.
Yeah, because it's funnier me being an outsider in this story.
People are on the edge of their seats, like, what the fuck is
okay,
Ricky Balboa?
yeah, shut the fuck up, Brian. So I go over to Brian's house because we were watching Doctor Who. We were watching the season 3 finale of Doctor Who, and while we're watching the movie, Brian's dad, I love your dad. He's very nice and eccentric, I would say. And so he while we're watching it, your dad like he didn't knock or anything. He like swings the door open to your room, and he's like, "Brian, Ricky Balboa is on," and you're like, "It's Rocky, Dad," and he's like, "That's what I said, Ricky Balboa," and and you were just like, "Okay,"
This is so long ago. I don't even remember that part.
and you were like, "Yeah, that's why I'm telling the story," and you were like, "Okay, we're watching something," and he's like, "Ah," and like closes the door. Like that's all he came in to say. And then we continue watching the episode, and the season 3 finale of Doctor Who there's a death in it. It's a very sad moment, and we're just sitting there at like emotional moment, and then through the wall we just hear Ricky Balboa like yelled to someone else in his house.
I did not remember that part of the
Yeah, I
story.
don't
That's the part of the story I remember. I don't remember him coming into my room and saying, "Brian, Ricky Balboa's on." I don't remember
this
that.
is why I told the story.
I literally remember. I just remember the part where the very emotional moment in Doctor Who comes on, and we're completely silent, and there's like literally only thing coming from my TV is music because it's like settling down and like, oh my god, this big thing happened, and all of a sudden from the other room beyond the wall, he just goes, "Ricky Balboa."
See, that's the thing, because that's why I found it so funny, the initial him popping in, because like I don't think I would have known what that meant. If
Yeah,
that
in my
conversation
dad's
hadn't
defense,
happened.
I don't know why he said it wrong, but he knew I love those movies, which I do love the Rocky movies. There's some that's like one of my favorite film franchises.
Ooh.
It
Alright.
could be, I could say franchises, I guess, because Creed technically is its own.
2 films. I don't know.
The Creed
More than one is a
franchise.
franchise. It also has video games.
Oh, yeah.
Bet you didn't know that. Look at us all sitting in silence,
Yep.
not knowing
Yeah.
what to say.
Let's
today
call it
was,
there, boys.
Stop.
Let's Chef, stop making your weird noises. Let's call it there. No, Brian, Brian,
Yo,
Brian, end it
I
there.
like that. I'm
Do it
gonna
again.
do.
Let's all do it.
No, end it there. Oh, my ears. Oh.
It's a reward for making it this far into the podcast.
professional out your
podcast ever,
ears.
and it's
Oh
going
my
to
God.
crash and burn.
That's what will make it successful.
Thank you all for listening to the
I love you.
SneetCast, episode 3.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
love
Chef's
you,
mom.
Chef's mom.
Thank you for feeding us
Hopefully,
whenever we come over.
the show gets better. I don't know.
It's not gonna get better.
We'll end on that.